What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Glad you can make it back. Just another weekend in the garage here. I got a couple projects I got to work on. I got this Nissan Pathfinder here. It is a 2014. I'm going to be doing front struts on it. This is actually a coworker of my wife's car. So we're going to do that. I also have a cam position sensor that I have to put in the BMW today. It threw a check engine light probably a couple weeks ago now. I pulled the fault code out of it. It was for intake cam position sensor, high resistance, I think. I'll pull the fault code up and I'll show you again today what it is. And then, if time permitting, after I get done with this and the BMW, gonna start on the headlight project on the Mustang. So I'm also gonna do, this is just me vlogging what's going on. I'm gonna do a separate tutorial on how to do the struts on this. It'll actually be like a step-by-step process. I'm also gonna do a separate little video, step-by-step process on how to do the cam position sensor on the BMW. So look for those videos as well. So let's get at this. All right, as you guys can see, we got the cowl off. So when you're taking it apart, there's two 10s on this bracket here for this brake master cylinder. There's studs coming off of that cowl cover. You just take the two 10s off, and then same on this side. There's two studs on this side for this bracket for this relay box. You just take the two 10s off there. There's actually two, or on either side, one of the nuts that goes through the, or the bolts that goes through the cowl piece is actually one of the strut bolts as well. So you can see there's your other strut bolt, and then there's your other one right there. And then on the other side, same thing. There's two other screws on, or bolts on each side as well. These right here, they're 13 millimeters on both sides. These are 10s. All the things that hold the cowl on are 10s. So we're gonna get the car jacked up now, get the suspension all torn apart, and we'll get these struts out of here. And then after I get the struts out of here, I actually have to go up to friend's shop and use his spring compressor because I don't have one here. You can, if you're doing this at home, you can actually rent a spring strut compressor from any of the local parts stores. They work. I don't like how they work. They're kind of cheap and they don't, like, they just feel not safe, but I can't tell you, I've probably used them 30 or 40 times without any problems. So they work. I prefer to use a real spring strut compressor, but I'll put a picture here of what that spring strut compressor looks like, and from the parts store, the one that you get from the parts store. And then I'll also show you a picture of the one that I'm using. It's a lot easier to use the one I'm using, but like I said, the ones from the parts stores work just fine. So let's get these struts torn apart. All right, so as you can see, I got the strut out. Once you, like I said, you got to take your two nuts out of your spindle, two bolts actually, they go through the strut and through your steering spindle. Take your brake hose off. There's actually a clip that clips on this way and locks behind this tab here and holds that brake hose on there. And then the wheel speed sensor wiring is just clipped into two brackets that are on the strut. You just push it out of the brackets and then take your sway bar end link off. This was an 18 millimeter, and then I just used an adjustable wrench to hold this back, because what happens is once you break this loose and try to spin this off, this thing just spins in here. So you're gonna have to hold this, see if you can see it, there you go. Hold this bolt head here. This is actually a flanged bolt part here. I'm gonna guess it's probably an 18. It's just a lot easier to use an adjustable wrench if you have one, as long as it's not too tight. If it starts to be tight, make sure you get the right size wrench so you don't strip it out, because adjustable wrenches aren't the greatest thing. These two are 21s holding this these bolts through the steering spindle. And then the other side, I believe, are 18s. Actually, they look like they're 21s as well. So 21s on both sides. I just use an adjustable wrench because these weren't that tight. Pull them off, and then up top, you take your other 13 and 13 out for your strut, and it comes right out. So we're gonna do the other side. I'm actually gonna show you guys like up close what it looks like to take this out. All right, so I'm an idiot. Went up to the friend's shop, used the spring strut compressor, forgot to bring the camera with me. I apologize, guys. I don't really have detailed showing you how to compress a spring strut. If you rent the tool from the parts store, the box that the tool comes in actually explains to you how to use it. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's 2 clamps and a threaded rod. It squeezes the spring down. You put 2 on each side. I'll try to see if I can't find a picture or a video, and I'll link it in the description down below on how to use the spring strut tools. The other thing you can do, I had access to a spring strut tool. If you don't feel like renting one, don't feel comfortable with doing that part of it, since this is some pretty easy stuff, but compressing springs can actually be really dangerous. You could see if you can't find a shop in the area that is willing to do just the strut swap out for you. I've actually done that in the past when I didn't have access to a spring strut tool, and I was doing struts on a car that I didn't really trust the tool from the parts store to compress the springs, because it was a pickup truck and the front springs were very, very heavy duty. I actually took the spring struts to a shop that had a wall mount spring strut compressor to compress the springs for me. I want to say they charged me like $50 or something like that to swap the struts out, which isn't a bad deal. I got this first strut put in over here. As you can see, it's only got 2 screws holding it in right now. I gotta wait until I get done putting everything else together, put the third one in. Alright, so in order to get to this cam position sensor on this car, you actually have to take off the air box. Cam position sensor is actually right underneath here, but the wiring for it actually runs all the way back to the wiring harness down here underneath the air intake boot / throttle body area. So you have to get the air box out so you can get underneath this to get down to the connector. You're also going to have to take off this oil feed line from the oil filter housing that comes up to the Vanos solenoid block across the front of the motor, just so you can get the sensor out from underneath there. So we're going to go ahead and get this air box taken out, and then I'll show you where the plug connection is for that sensor, and we'll get to taking all this stuff off as well. Alright, so I got the air box out. Again, 210s here. Loosen this clamp on this hose here. Pull your air box out. You're also going to have to pull your oil filter out, just so you can get in here to get to things. Vanos line off. The bolt that holds this line on is a 19. And then you also have to take the Vanos solenoid itself out. It's not too hard. I use an adjustable wrench. There's actually a socket that you're supposed to use for it. It's a BMW special tool, but I don't have it. Adjustable wrench works just as well. And then there is a 5mm Allen that holds the cam position sensor into the cylinder head. That's the hole that it came out of, and your old cam position sensor. Now the wiring runs down behind things over here, down behind this Vanos oil line and everything, and actually plugs into the wiring harness right here. Let me see if I can point this out to you guys. Right here where my finger's at. See this plug connection here? There's a push tab here on the top of it that you just push down on and pull the connector out of it. So let's get this new cam position sensor put in, and I'll show you the routing of the wiring. And all right, so I realized like an idiot that my camera was set to time lapse and not to record while I was putting this camshaft position sensor back in. I really wanted to explain to you guys how to do it, but it's already back together, so there's not really much I can do about that now. All right, so I'd call that a success. Just got done driving that Pathfinder, and no more weird noises from the suspension, and no more floaty feeling while you're driving down the road. So customer's gonna get the car aligned, and that'll be the end of that. That's all fixed and good for them. I didn't notice anything else wrong with the car while I was in there. I kind of gave it a once over while I was working on it just to make sure there wasn't anything crazy. I didn't notice any blown out shocks or in the rear or CV boots leaking or anything like that. Brakes looked okay. Tires need replaced. He's gonna get tires replaced and get the alignment all done at the same time here in the next couple of days. Now that we're done with that, we're gonna dig into the headlight retrofit on the Mustang. I'm going to do some periodic updates in the regular videos of me doing other stuff around the garage of what's going on with that and what I've done and stuff like that and where my progress is. I'm also going to do a step-by-step tutorial on how to do what I'm doing. So there'll be a step-by-step process in case you want to do it yourself. That information will be available to you. I'll include the parts and everything like that in those videos, and I'm just going to do like a build series on those headlights. But let's get started on this. I'm going to go into a little bit of what's involved and what I'm doing to get started. So let's get to it. What's up, guys? So the video you guys just watched was actually recorded a couple days ago. It took me a while to get the rest of my stuff in. I just want to give you a little update in this video. The videos coming up here in the future are going to be of me doing a headlight retrofit on the Mustang. So I just wanted to show you all the stuff that I got in order to do it. So I've got a new set of headlights. These are they're cheap. They were, I want to say, I think $100 that I paid for them on Amazon. They're Chinese knockoffs. I'm hoping they'll work out okay. Looking at them, I'm not really all that satisfied with the quality of them, but we'll see how things work out. I got these projectors from, actually I got all of this stuff from the retrofit source. These projectors are some cheaper ones. I think they were $35 a piece. I'm trying to be a little budget on this. I don't have a ton of money, so I'm trying to keep this kind of budget minded, and hopefully that will help you guys out as well, seeing that you don't have to spend a ton of money in order for this to work out and come out good. I think total on this table, everything that you're seeing in this picture, I have $400 invested. It sounds like a lot, but a lot of times when guys do these projector retrofits, they're well over $1,000 just in parts, not including paying someone to do them. So I'm trying to keep it cheap, and I'm doing it myself, so I'm cutting down on a lot of costs there as well. I've got halos that are going to go in behind my projector shrouds. Now, I didn't pull the projector shrouds out because I actually got two different kinds. I haven't quite made up my mind on which ones I'm going to use. I'll let that be a surprise. I'll show you guys as I'm going through the retrofit process which ones I decided to use. You'll see, and then you'll see the finished product as well. So we're not going to show you those right now. Halos to go behind the shrouds to get you some backlighting to the shrouds. You're not actually going to see this whole ring. It's just going to backlight in behind the shroud, the two shrouds that I have, depending on which one I go with. These are demon eyes. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to use these yet. I want to mess around with them and see what they look like. I may or may not use them in the end. This is a Bluetooth controller for the demon eyes and the halos that I can actually change the colors of each of the halos and the demon eyes with this Bluetooth controller. And then I also have these LED switchbacks that they offer. These are like universal LED switchback kits. These are the controllers. There's one for each headlight, and then these are the actual LED boards. These controllers are pretty simple. They take a power and ground and a turn signal input. So when the power and ground are on, these LEDs will light up white, and then when the turn signal is put in, they'll turn into yellow, and they light up sequentially in series to indicate the turn. So I have to mess with those when I'm doing the retrofit to make sure that I'm wiring properly, so they'll indicate the turn to the proper direction. This is going to go along with, I'm still waiting on some custom made LED designs for the turn signals. I'm going to do a little Mustang inspired 3-bar setup. That's what I'm hoping to do, at least. I'm going to see how well it works out. I've never done it before, so this is going to be purely me messing around and seeing if it's possible. It's going to be like a 3-bar setup inside of this LED, or this turn signal, kind of like how this is a 3-bar reflector that you see here. That's the Mustang trait for lighting, is the 3 bars. I'm going to try to do the 3 bars inside of here sequentially for the turn signal in the front. So I'm hoping it works out. I guess you guys will have to stay tuned for the future videos of me doing this retrofit. I'm going to do a lot of me going through the process of doing this, and just I'll keep my Instagram and all that stuff updated as I'm doing it, just so you guys can see the whole process, and then I'll show you a complete done product and what it looks like in the car. I appreciate you guys watching this video today. If you could, please subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff in the future, including this retrofit that I'm going to do on the Mustang. I've got some other projects planned for it here in the next couple months as well. If you could, comment down below if you have any questions about this, and look forward to the future videos. And I appreciate you guys for coming, and I'll see you later.